very atypical for this podcast. My guest today is, I was going to say Kyla, but it's
Everybody
Kayla.
does,
Do
yeah.
they?
Yeah, well, yeah.
So-
Everybody in Quebec, it's like they can't say A. I don't know what it is. It's just
Oh.
Kyla. So I just say it. Yeah, sure.
But I can say I don't have that excuse.
You don't have a Quebec accent?
Our guest today is Kayla Diamond. Hi,
Oh.
Kayla.
Nice to be here.
Nice to have you here. So I said this was an atypical guest, and the reason I guess I said that was most of the guests on this podcast are people I've known for 20 or more years.
Mhm.
That was a bit of the basis of the podcast when we started it. Like that was sort of the idea, was it was going to be me, who is an old fart in the music business, talking to other old farts in the music business. But you're a young fart in the music business. You're not an old fart in the music business. So I guess one thing I'm curious about is you, if you don't mind me saying it, you sort of approached me about maybe doing the podcast.
Yes, of course.
I'm curious why. Like what I've had a few people approach me, but it's usually, well, I'll just let you answer. I was curious what caused you, because it's not like I said earlier, most of the people on my podcast I've known for 20 years. I met you for the first time today. So
Yes.
we don't know each other. Maybe we were in communication sort of before, but never really directly.
Mm-hmm.
So just curious, what made you reach out and what was your interest in doing this?
I like your approach to this whole industry thing. And I think it's so dope that you come from a law background too, because I come from a law background.
Right.
One might say I'm a law school dropout.
Yes.
But
one might say that, or one would
one
say
will
that.
absolutely
In fact,
say that.
Okay. Just wanted to be clear.
It took me a second in the
Sorry to be
industry.
such a lawyer. Just want to have clarity of language. Yes.
Yeah. So I was in law school. And so I have been hearing about, the way you do business and how cool you are and, everything you've done.
That I do not believe for us. I cannot think of
You
anybody
better
less
believe
cool
it.
than me.
You better believe it. So yeah, I mean,
Even my kids don't think I'm cool.
Well, I'm going to give them a call and let them know.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I just think the way that you have, and especially what you've built here is so impressive. And I'm always looking to, learn more about what I can be doing better in this business.
What brings you to Vancouver? Because you are Montreal based.
Yes. So we now split our time between LA and Montreal. So mostly actually majority of the time.
Who's we?
My wife and daughter. So yeah, I'm starting to work a lot out there and stuff. And, so I started a label, about a year and a half ago. Kolossal. Yes. And, my vision for this was to build a pop star with my bare hands from start to finish, in terms of like, I'm writing, producing, all of it. And so until a proper manager comes along, I'm essentially also managing this artist as well. And I'm playing with him too. And I'm also tour managing. And happily enough, he booked his first tour with Jamie Fine, which is a crazy first tour, playing 1,000 cap rooms for a first tour. And so I wasn't going to let him go alone on this for his first one. So that's why I'm here.
Oh, so there's a show.
There's a show tonight. Yeah.
That's right. I think I knew that. Is it at the
Hollywood?
At the Hollywood. You ever been there?
Yeah. I played 3 years ago.
Lovely place. And a place I used to, for Vancouverites, that place holds a real sort of special place in most people's heart, because like as a kid, I used to go to movies there.
It's a beautiful theater.
It's a beautiful, there's that place in Toronto. Is it called the Fox Theater in the Beaches?
Maybe, yeah.
That kind of reminds me, same. I bet it's a similar sort of vintage, but I think it's the most beautiful looking venue in the city.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, so that's cool. So, and why don't you do a little plug-in for your artists there? It's,
yes.
I always say artist names wrong, by the way, not just other people's, mine as well. I had Chevy Beaulieu on here and I couldn't say his name. I signed him. It was embarrassing as but Amari?
Amari, yeah, you got it, with 2 I's.
Amarii.
Yes, and he's from the island.
Okay. Where? Do you know specifically?
I'm gonna butcher this name. I believe is it Calicum Beach?
Qualicum.
There you go.
Beautiful place.
Yeah, I've heard.
Beautiful place.
Yeah, no Uber available there, though.
No Uber, right. And how did you find this artist?
He was actually referred to me by a manager that reached out. This was a couple years ago, and he reached out just as a producer. Hey, can you remix? There's this kid blowing up. He put out a song. The song was called "Bad Guy," and his manager at the time reached out and said, "Look, we'd love for you to do a remix of it." So I got the stems and I was sifting through, and I was like, "There's some real emotion in
Yeah,
this
yeah.
vocal. It sounds really cool." And I started doing a remix, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a cinematic remix where he sounds like Kid Leroy from an outside
Yeah.
perspective. But we already have Kid Leroy, so I'm not going to make production that sounds like Kid Leroy. So I was like, what if we took it dark cinematic with orchestral elements with that kind of sad boy emo vocal on top? Could be a very cool juxtaposition. And he loved it. And then we sort of got in touch. And at that exact time, I was sort of solidifying a partnership with Awesome and Jermaine, my two partners. And that was the birth of Kolossal. And I said, this would be the perfect signing.
I get the impression, even just talking to you for the first time today, that there's some similarities with us. I mean, there's the obvious. We're Jewish. Okay, big deal, I guess. But there's that. But there's also the sort of work ethic and the sort of, you've said the word control freak 2 or 3 times since you've been here,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I think I'm better. I was more of a control freak. I've actually enjoyed delegating in the last few years. Like about 3 years ago, I turned over the day-to-day running of the label to Kessie, who has been with me for 21 years. She started as, I think, this Marianas Trench street team person
Oh, wow.
and now runs the whole thing.
Incredible.
And Tyler, who you met earlier, our CFO, who, I just got to a point with it where I was like, do I really need to be the guy like approving $2,000 budgets on like it just, but that's a control freak thing.
Yes.
And, the first 5 years this company existed, there was 2 employees and I
Yep.
did everything from the contracts to
Hmm.
the A&R and Chad, I don't want to make it sound like, but Chad's kind of busy. Like he's
Yeah.
on the road touring. So I was the one here kind of running the thing. And, that made it hard eventually to kind of go, you know what? I've only got a limited amount of time left on the planet. I
Hmm.
really don't want to be doing everything. I don't
Yeah.
want to be
Of
doing what I don't
course.
want to be doing.
Yeah.
And if your label continues to grow, then you'll probably get to that point too, where you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
Be nice to have somebody who does all the admin so that I don't have to. I don't know what you do, but I'm
I'm
assuming you do a lot of
I'm
that.
blessed to have Awesome actually take care of
Oh, that's nice.
that. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, when we first started it, I said to him, I was like, "I do not wanna be a 9 to 5
So you
label
focus on
person."
creative.
Yes, so I set this up because, because I realized that as a producer, you know, you put in a lot of work to develop artists,
Sure.
an immense amount of work, and sometimes A&Rs will take that, for granted. They don't realize that, like, they think they're the one developing the artist, but really the producer's in the room developing the artist. And so, a lot of the time, though, the producer doesn't have a say on what songs get cut. So, I was in a situation where I was frustrated with, an artist that I was developing, and, we had done an immense amount of songs, and, only a couple came out, and whatever, it was a whole situation, and then I was like, "You know what? I don't wanna do that anymore. I'm gonna start my own label, so that I can also be in control of selecting the songs, A&Ring the project as well." So, when I was first meeting Awesome and Jermaine, I said, "Let me be essentially head of A&R and also the producer and writer on the records. And then you guys teach me how to run the label." And so they've kind of been guiding me through it,
Yes.
but the model is one artist at a time, which I don't see a lot of. So
No.
it's artist development at its core.
Yes. Well, I mean, if the artist blows up or at least starts to do well, I mean, for me, it would probably be more like an economic thing than
Mhm.
anything else, just because it's like, I mean, I gotta say, this label has grown, our label's grown so big that that actually sounds pretty good. I mean, the thought of not having 35 things that you're working at once. Now I have a staff, and I mean, our staff
Right.
now is, I think, 42.
Wow. Yeah.
And then we have a bunch of part-time, I mean, it's probably close to 50 when you include people on contract and the whole thing, which is great in many ways and horrifying in many ways. The pressure of that sometimes is a bit much, where you sort of sit there. I'll sit in my office at 2 a.m, kind of going, my God, I have employees with kids. Like I have like so many people. Like, you know, when it really freaked me out was a pandemic
Hmm.
where I was so scared going into it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to start laying people off for the first time
Yeah.
in that I've been running this company like 20 years. And now we're gonna have to start laying people off. Thank God everything was fine.
Hmm.
We got very lucky during the pandemic. We got lucky with the NFT thing.
Yeah.
Actually, I can say we got lucky. I rep a guy, one of the guys who was in Coleman Hell,
Oh, really?
Misha, who quit like maybe a year before the pandemic. He called me and said like, "Hey, I'm not happy doing the music thing anymore. I want to focus on my visual art," because he was always the guy doing the artwork for the singles and
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
And we'd put out a single, and the next day the phone would ring, and it would be like, I just saw that artwork for that single. Like, so
Yeah.
he had a little gig going, doing
Cool.
artwork for other people.
Okay.
And I think his Instagram started to go kaboom. And he's like, you know
Amazing.
what? You've been my manager for years. If I want to focus on visual art, will you manage me for that? And I said, let me talk to my wife about it. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Timing was just,
Wow.
so he became one of the biggest NFT artists in the world,
Wow.
Mad Dog Jones.
Interesting.
And he broke the record for the highest selling single piece of art by a living Canadian. We had a Phillips auction where he sold his replicator NFT did we sell for 7 million US?
It's pretty
Might have been
nice.
5 million. It was a lot of money.
Wow.
It was a lot of money. And he broke the record, Jeff Wall's record. And it was just like, so that kind of saved our ass during the pandemic. And people streamed a lot during the pandemic. Like as much as the live thing was a disaster,
Yeah.
the streaming thing kind of was a boom.
Yeah. Side door was really, really popping.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it was not as bad as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Point is, there's good and bad things about a company getting bigger.
Yeah. 100%.
And so how many people work at your company?
It's just the three of us. And then we have subcontractors that help us with Amari. So it's myself, Awesome, and Jermaine brings like a wealth of knowledge on the management side and the live side. So it's like, three different heads together.
How's it been running a label so far? I mean, you probably had all sorts of expectations going into it. Has it been better, worse, both?
A lot of control, which I love. It's a lot of putting my own ego aside to take advice that is done, tested, and proven. But Awesome's really cool because he'll let me play my ideas out so that I learn, instead of telling me outright, like, hey, that's not a good idea, let's not do that. He'll be like, oh, okay, if you think this is a good idea, let's try it. So it's been a lot of, trial and error, trial and success. So I'm really enjoying that process, but I'm also, in a sense, because I started out as an artist and I really hated it. Like I loved it when it was great, but the bad times were just, the highs and lows are very extreme.
Listen, the first thing I tell any artist after we sign them, I always have the same piece of advice for everybody, which is the real key to a career is not to let the good things get you too high and not to let the bad things get you too low. Keep
100%.
an even keel through all that because there's going to be plenty of good and plenty of bad. There'll be plenty of both.
Absolutely. And I think for me, the hard part was being the face of it. I am very much a behind the scenes type of person. And I know that when you go to law school, right, you study and you do well. It's not linear in this business. So it's kind of just like you can do all the right things and it's just not going to work. And no artist has the same blueprint. So being an artist in the face of it was very challenging for me, and I really was just miserable. And so now being behind the scenes, but allowing Amari to sort of be in front of the camera and be himself and stuff, but me sort of pulling the strings from the back while also being the producer on the project. So it is my music too. Without
the pressure of being the face of it.
Yeah. So I still feel like the artist in a really fun sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so public by nature. So when you have a big success, when Nickelback, blew up,
Yeah.
"Hey, you're the guy who works with Nickelback." That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's me. That's a guy. But when things go wrong,
Yeah.
hey, aren't you the idiot who, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
I'm the idiot.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of hard. Like the public facing nature of it is tough in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
Okay. So you're in law school.
Yes.
Where'd you go?
I was at UDM, Detroit Mercy. I was getting
Oh.
a dual JD. Like I was gonna
Canadian and American?
Yeah. So first you start in the US, and then you kind of go back and forth.
But what was the idea? So you were going to.
I kind of didn't know that there was any other career path, but I have a very I don't want to sound cocky. It's like a logical brain. Like if things don't make logical sense, they don't make sense to me at all. So it seemed like the natural career path for me. I was in music school for like 12 years of my life, but I come from a Jewish family, so it's like.
But did you was the idea, did you have some notion of like, when I graduate, I want to be an entertainment lawyer. I want to be
not at all. Entertainment law didn't even come across.
Yeah.
I was kind of interested in criminal law, actually. Yeah, because I saw a lot of things in Detroit. So yeah, I mean, I was very interested in that, and I was only in law school for about 6 months before I got discovered through Slate Music's It's Your
so
Shot.
I read that. I thought that was interesting. So you submitted a song almost like some contest or something?
Yeah, it was really bizarre. I had never written a song before because I don't know why, actually. I should have. But I was 22 years old when I wrote my first song ever. Sat at the piano, put it out on YouTube just for fun. And then somebody, my sister-in-law's sister-in-law had sent me a link to this contest called It's Your Shot. And I just sent in the video because I had it. And then I just went,
Was that Carnival Hearts?
No, not yet. It was a song called Crazy. And it was like just 100%er, just put it in. And submitted it, forgot that I even entered this contest. I went about my day, went to contracts law class.
Yeah.
And then in December, I get a call from this dude named Jim Campbell. And I forgot that I entered it, and I thought it was a prank. So I basically hung up on him, called my dad, and I said, "Do you know who this guy Gary Slate is? Like, I feel like this is a prank. Like, what is Slate?" And my dad's like, No. Like, you should probably call them back. And I did, and it was like just by winter break, and I came back to Toronto. I was in Windsor. Came back to Toronto, had a meeting with the Slate team. They're amazing people, and we ultimately decided you can't be a lawyer and a musician at the same time and be great at both. It's just, So I took a pause on law school.
So at the end of the semester, you sort of went.
I actually said to Jim Campbell and Derek Ross, I said, I feel like the responsible decision here is for me to go back to law school, finish my degree, and then try this. And they were super supportive. Derek was actually going to get me a train pass to go back and forth over the weekends. Yeah. And so I went back to law school, and I'm sitting in property class, and they're talking about the rule against perpetuities and all that on the board. And I'm thinking about, I have free studio space now. This is crazy. I'm just like tapping on the thing, thinking about all the new songs I want to write.
So it was over.
Leave class, and I go to one of my professor's offices, and I tell her what happened. And she looks at me and she goes, "Look, I could have had a chance to do something really big with ballet. And I went to law school instead. And for years I've been wondering, what if?" She goes, "Just come, let's go to the dean's office together." And the dean was super supportive. And they said, "We're going to grant you, a leave of absence.
So if you had wanted to return,
if I want to return at any point in the next
nice.
3 years, I'm more than welcome to come back." And they've been supporting me, they supported me. And then a year, and when I drove back to my parents' house, my dad gave me like a big hug, and he goes, because I was crying. I was really nervous about this decision. I didn't know if it was right. He gave me a big hug and he said, "Yeah, you're not going back to law school." He's like, "If you're going to do it good."
Yeah.
And then a year later, Carnival Hearts was top 30. What You're Made Of was top 10. It was wild. It was bizarre.
Did you sign with Slate? Is that sort of like Slate's a mystery to me. And I think it's a very Toronto-centric thing.
Yeah.
So like I know who Gary is. I think I've met him But the Junos once? And
Most probably, yeah.
I know he was friends with Randy Lennox, and I know Derek Ross. I've met Derek a few times.
Mm-hmm.
He was an agent, if I remember correctly,
At
maybe even at
Feldman's.
Feldman.
Yeah, and then he started
like
DMD.
years ago, and they started DMD, which was the company that
It did my radio promo.
the Voldemort of radio promo. Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Well, Gareth
person.
Jones is actually the best radio promo person. I will give a plug to him. He has You Are Here Now, and he is the best radio person in this industry.
Yeah, and I know him a bit. I have a funny Gareth story, but boy, I'm not sure he'd want me telling it. So
probably not. I'm sure.
I'm just thinking, well, you know what? What the hell? Hey, what the hell? That's what Simkin's known for. I'm gonna just say it. And I like Gareth, so this isn't like a whatever, but he was working still with he whose name we don't speak, and they were trying to work one of our artists, and they really believed in this song that we had, and they really wanted to work it, and we ended up not going with them, and we had some reason, I can't remember, it might have been financial, I can't remember.
Mm.
And per Gareth, he wrote a letter to that guy and accidentally copied me.
Mm.
And it was not very flattering towards me.
Oh.
It's like, they're going with this other company and them and da-da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da-da. Now, all of us have done this. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn to say most people in the day and age of email, especially when you're doing 400 a day, once in a while, you might send it to the wrong person.
Sure. I
was very forgiving and I said, look, if nothing else, at least I know you really believed in that artist.
Yeah.
So I think we were cool. Gareth, are we cool? I think we're cool because we've hired him, I think, for stuff since then. But it was just like, I'm just like, oh, dude. Although it's funny because I recently did that where I sent an email, I thought, to a guy named Graham in my staff, but I actually accidentally sent it to Mike Graham, who is an agent at Pecan.
Oh,
now thank God I know him. And it's the same kind of thing like with that Gareth thing where he wrote me back and said, I don't think that was intended for me, but I got to say that was a great email. Like you really I really appreciate what you were saying there. Yeah, okay, great. Anyways, okay. So Gareth.
Yes.
And so you actually signed like a record deal with Slate? So I don't think I realized that they were a label.
Yeah. It was kind of more like an artist incubator at the time. And I knew nothing. I also knew nothing about the music business at all. So it was structured legally as a record deal with distribution with whoever partner they choose. Mine was particularly Cadence Music Group.
So through Slate, you end up on Cadence. So it's like Slate/Cadence.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I'm in a pub deal with them. So with Slate. Okay. So that's what it was. It was it was more or less 360, but without the management.
Gotcha.
So they were taking pub, but they were also investing into the project. I also did not understand how anything worked. We put out the project. The second EP did not do well at all, and I don't think that was Slate's fault.
Okay, so the first EP was Carnival Hearts?
The first EP was called Beautiful Chaos.
But did it have that?
And it had Carnival Hearts.
Because that was a hit. I mean, I remember that.
That was a hit, yeah.
So it was off of that first EP?
Yeah.
Okay. And the second one doesn't do so well.
Yeah, the second EP, so I had 2 hits off that EP, and then the second EP, it was almost like just nobody heard it. It was a great EP. I had some top producers on there. I had Joel Stauffer, Craig McConnell, some great writers as well.
Yeah.
And I think that at the time, Spotify might have been, a little bit more advanced, and the algorithm started to, come into play. And I remember waking up and I wasn't even on New Music Friday. And so when you're an artist, you're waiting for 12 a.m. on a Friday and you're up at night.
How did I do? Where did I get playlisted?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you have that expectation. You just had a top hit on the radio. Like it doesn't make any sense. And with Carnival Hearts, What You're Made Of, I am like, my face is the cover of Pop All Day. My face is the cover of like 10 Spotify playlists. And then I go from that to this. And I think that it was a lot of people just really not understanding that the music industry was changing day to day at that point in time. This was 2019.
Yeah.
And so we started to have TikTok, and we started to have, Musical.ly was leaving and TikTok was coming in. And I was understanding that, but I think it took the rest of the team a little second to catch up. And I think Slate was eager to learn. I think Cadence was slowing it down. Um, and yeah, I'm not really sure what happened, but I started to just feel very depressed. Pandemic started to happen, but I had always really wanted to be a producer. Like always, that was really the goal.
Did you who produced Carnival Hearts?
Craig McConnell.
Who's that?
He is one of the most
I know that
genius
name, but
dudes. Yeah. He mainly scores films and stuff. Like he, at the time, he was producing, do you remember Shiloh?
Yes.
Yes. So Shiloh, that was a funny story with What You're Made Of, my song. That was a Shiloh song. It wasn't even my song. And Craig and Shiloh had written it. And I got to Craig's studio one day and he goes, you know what? Let me play you this song. It's really a great song. Like we'll change, like you could change lyrics here and there, whatever. I changed all the lyrics, but the melodies were kept the same and everything. And we never found Shiloh, and I don't even know if she knows it's out, but yeah.
Whatever happened to her?
I wonder. I mean, I think
she was working with Ivan Barry.
Yeah.
And anybody he works with he's like the Bermuda Triangle of managers. It's like your career disappears.
I've heard not such great things.
About Ivan?
I don't know if that's the one, but I know that she had a manager that was not
Ivan.
Quite. Yeah. Okay. So then maybe that was him.
See, this is where I always have to be careful on my own podcast because boy, I'd love to unload.
Look, I think if you do,
like guy, I don't like him at one.
I think
bit.
that if you do bad things and and somebody talks about the bad things that you did, you shouldn't have done the bad things.
There are things on my mind these days in this industry that I think are real, and but I'm saving that more for the stuff I'm writing for Billboard these days. Like I've been in this business for 35 years, so it's not like and I've always called people out, and I've always, and I'm not perfect at all, but you know what? At least I haven't, enabled artists to do horrible things or things like that, but I will say writing that article was, what's that expression? Sometimes you just can't unsee things. And now it's like, I almost, on some levels, I wish I hadn't written the article because now I feel like all I see is the stuff. And it's like, I have trouble seeing anything but.
Yeah.
And it's really colored it's colored everything. And I'm very happy that I have a bunch of young staff who aren't jaded and angry like me. Let them, just to have the pure joy of working in the music business, whereas I'm now on a different kind of mission.
It's eye-opening to see like how people can blame their cruelty on lack of knowledge in this business. Yeah, I mean, having become a mother now, when somebody takes away food from my child, it's a different beast.
Yes, of course.
It's a different beast. And that happened to me this year. And that was when I made the decision, I'm out of here. I'm out. Like I'm not going to be putting so much time and effort into, working records and then you get in a falling out with me and then you kill my record. It's not going to work.
No. Okay. So you, and this is my bad. I have such trouble keeping anything linear in a conversation. You have an EP that disappoints for whatever reason.
Yes.
And is that when you sort of go, you know what? I think I'd rather be making the music, but not necessarily the face of it.
Well, I had the inkling as I was even having the height of success. I would get the email from, my agents and it would say like in caps offer. And I would like see it and I'd be like, oh, I have to do this again.
A live show, you mean?
Yeah. Live shows are fantastic, but the nerves and anxiety that come with it. And also because I'm a control freak, I also want to be the tour manager. I have trouble relinquishing that kind of control with scheduling and everything. So tours were always extremely stressful for me. Once I'm on stage, amazing. Have the best time. I put on a great show. But everything surrounding that it was too much.
Did you have a manager when you were on Slate? Like, did you have somebody who was your manager?
Yeah, they assigned me a manager.
Oh, so a Slate manager.
He wasn't with Slate. He was head of a company that Slate acquired. And I think it was a move where they had well intentions, obviously, because they saw that my career was
they wanted it to succeed,
skyrocket, and at the height of it, they assigned me a manager who actually has never really dealt with that height. And instead of fostering it, one thing he said to me was, I'm here to manage your expectations, not make your dreams come true. And so I didn't know anything about the music industry, so I was kind of scared of him. And he had a wild temper. And like one time I called him after 5 p.m. and I said, "Oh, I'm so." He like screamed at me on the phone, and I was like, "Do you want me to make? Do you want this to be a 9 to 5? Like I'll respect that." And he was like, "You're so rude. Like this is."
Oh,
He just berated me, and he's
well,
thankfully
that
no
sounds healthy.
longer. Yeah, he's thankfully no longer part of Slate. It took them about 6 years for that to
To figure
happen.
it out.
But I kept saying, I said, I would, and I'm the type of person that I'm saying this openly on a podcast because I would say it to his face as well. Like I would walk into the office and go, "Why is he still here?"
Yeah.
Out loud in his face. So, I'm glad that he's no longer there.
Okay, so at what point is it that you kind of go, okay, I'm done as
Yeah.
like an artist, and that's it. I know what I want to do. I see what I want to do. I see what my future can be. When's that? Like, when does that happen?
2021. Yeah,
So
2021.
pandemic's going on.
Pandemic's going on. I have all this free time. My first US tour got canceled because of the pandemic. And I was just building, we were just taking apart the guts of a house in Montreal. And I was like, I'm going to build
So you
a
were
studio.
married by then,
I wasn't married yet. I
but
was
you were
getting
with
married.
the person you are with.
Yes. Yeah. So I built a studio in the basement and I knew how to produce. I just was too reluctant to call myself a producer.
Yeah.
Just from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every night. I was just learning how to produce for about, I want to say 5 months straight. And then I started taking on sessions, Zoom sessions, thankfully, where I was producing on the fly. But I had seen how sessions were run because I was always the artist in the room.
Yeah.
So I would see how, Craig would run and I'd leave the day with a demo.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, great. I have to make sure my artists leave with a demo. That sounds good. That sounds label ready.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So, my chops kept getting better and better and better. And I started getting into bigger rooms. People started trusting me with their records. And it's just been a snowball effect.
Okay, you've got one artist on your label.
Yes.
You're doing the one artist at a time thing. And how has that been? I mean, what is running a label what you thought it was going to be?
Yes. I mean, it's definitely it's interesting because it's kind of changed my perspective on the industry as a whole.
Sure.
Whereas, when I used to walk into a room, let's say it's like a industry party or something, right? I would be an artist hanging out with the artists. And now that I have that artist community who I came up with. I have my songwriting community. I'm a producer. I wear basically almost every hat in this industry.
Yeah.
So when I walk into a room like that, I'm saying I'm hanging with the execs, and all that. So my perspective of the industry has really changed into the realization that it's just like high school. There's so many people who are calling themselves managers and stuff, and they don't have the chops to do it.
Nope. Correct.
And there's so many people in this industry that are calling themselves A&R, but know nothing about music.
Correct.
And are just lucky to be there.
Yep.
So I'm kind of seeing the perspective of, wow, so many people are incredibly incompetent. And it's just a matter of like this weird game you have to play. But I mean, obviously it comes with a lot of lovely people in the industry who I'm obsessed with, but having now been on the exec side, there's a lot of stupid people in my inboxes that my management has to deal with too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a perspective thing for me too.
Is that funny? I mean, part of the reason I bought this building and built what I built was my incredible distaste for the rest of the music business. I almost like to pretend that nothing goes on outside of these four walls. And not because I think we're so great or anything like that, but more because I just don't care. Like, I love music and I love business, but I don't love the music business.
Yeah.
And I don't love most of the people in it. And so I'm so much happier just being able to focus on what's going on. Hey, we're making a video today. Great. I'm going to focus on that. Hey, we've got a new song. Great. I'll focus on that.
Yes.
I don't care what's going on in Toronto. I don't care what's going on anywhere else. I really couldn't give a flying fuck.
That's why you're successful, though. You know,
Maybe.
you put your blinders on.
It's also limited too, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's both freed us in many ways and limited us in certain ways. Because when you don't play the game with the
Right.
big boys, then sometimes that comes back on you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just don't care enough.
Yeah.
And we've had enough success that
Was there a point though that you did care about it?
if I'm really honest with myself, I still care. I don't like, I'd be a liar to say I don't care what people think about me. Of course I care. Everybody cares what other people think about you, but I don't care what the traditional industry thinks, if that makes more sense. I care what my employees think about me. I care what my artists think about me. I care what my wife thinks about me. I care what my kids think about me. Other than that, not so much. But then funny things happen. Like, so this year, Billboard named me the number 7, whatever it is on that power player list, the power player list. I was like, and I don't get many things like that. I think because of my nature, because I make it so clear that I don't care about that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, and it was funny because sort of reading this thing, and I'd be a liar to say that it didn't give me like an ego. Like I sent it to my kids.
It's validating.
I was proud of it. I sent it to my kids. My kids were like, wow, look at dad. You know, it's
cool.
like, all right. Yet at the same time, I'm keenly aware of the fact that it doesn't matter in many respects. And I thought it was funny because like they said something like unflinchingly honest and a proud disturber in a business that needs disturbers. And I went, okay, but isn't that what you've used to marginalize me for the last 25 years?
Right.
So I haven't changed. I guess just the world changed a little bit. And now disruptors are somehow seen in but it also then tempers the meaningfulness of it all. I'm kind of like, you know, like,
oh yeah,
it's kind of,
I think it's a huge compliment to be a disruptor. You have to disrupt in order to change things and break through. Otherwise, if you're just playing the game, you're kind of just floating and boring.
I've never felt like a disruptor in the sense of like doing things for the purpose of disrupting. I've just always kind of marched to my own drummer and that's ended up working out pretty well. Now I do feel more like a disruptor because of that article. Like that to me was like, I actually have an opportunity here maybe to change some minds and to get some people. And that was the thing that was so profound about writing that article. It wasn't the fact that a lot of people got mad at me, which they did. It wasn't the fact that I was threatened to be sued by a couple of companies, which I was. By the way, I told them, go for it. And just so you know, every letter you now send to me, I'm putting up on Twitter. So I'm going to make sure that everybody knows what you're about.
Yeah.
But that aside, you know, it's just funny now that like, I'm sort of like, almost feel like maybe this was why I was put on the planet. Like maybe, I don't know. Like I'm never going to get the Walt Grealis Award, right? And I learned that the hard way this last year because there was a movement to get me the Walt Grealis Award in Vancouver.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But it became clear I pissed off too many, like there were too many people who were like, that, him, not over my dead body, da 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 da. And I was like, okay, well, all I was upset with myself for giving a about it. I mean, I actually advocated for myself, which looking back now, I'm like, what the was I thinking? You know, I had a few people go, it's not right. You should have gotten it years ago and you've had more success, and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, everybody, I should get the Walt Grealis Award. And I sent a few emails out. And then I was like, what happened? On what planet does that matter in any sort of way?
It's politics.
Then I wrote the story and it was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm much more digging the sort of feedback I'm getting from writing that article. Cause like I was getting letters from like, you know, dear Mr. Simkin, I run a small indigenous label in northern Manitoba, and I read your story with great interest. And, you know, even though we don't have a Call Me Maybe or a Theory of a Dead Man, your story could have been written about us. Same bullshit excuses we were getting from Connect, same income plummeting, same lack of ability to get answers. And we were going to give up even trying to get our money. But after reading your story, we're going to get a lawyer and and I was like, holy fuck.
Pretty amazing.
Amazing.
That's incredible.
So much more meaningful than the Walt Greeless Award, like so much more meaningful to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I've really decided to double down on that.
Yes. That's amazing though.
Yeah. And some of the worst I've ever seen has been in relation to award shows.
Yes. 100%.
The misconduct, the the behind the scenes backstabbing, it's whoa.
Well, the just complete unfairness. There's people who should get Breakthrough Artist of the Year and have the streams to support that, and others are chosen and out of mere politics, and that's a thing that happens.
Yes.
And once you understand that, it's great to get that award. It's fantastic, but once you understand that can happen, it really taints certain things, and that's the Grammys do the same thing, Drake and The Weeknd have boycotted them for that reason too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all a popularity game, and nothing should be taken too seriously with that. No.
Especially when you're like me and I poke too many people in the eye and
that I try not to do. That I always say, like, I never want to burn a bridge, even though I parted ways, let's say, with the Slate team. Like, I love each and every one of them dearly. I brought Jim and I went to the SoCan Awards. We accepted my award for the Strumbellas together. And, it's a beautiful thing. But burning bridge is not for me.
I don't think I've ever intentionally burned a bridge. I think I just sometimes can't help it. It's not the intent, but it's the result.
Of course. It makes sense.
Although not that many, I don't think Jeff Remedios is ever going to want to have anything to do with me. But I don't want to have anything to do with him. So that works out actually quite well. But yeah, no, I just don't, but no, I don't have to. I definitely have mellowed out. Like, something about having a kid mellows you out.
Mm-hmm.
Something about having a sick kid really mellows you out.
Of course.
And so a lot of things that used to get me all riled up,
you realize what's really important.
Yeah. Life's too short. I
say that all the time. Yeah.
You get pissed off about stupid sort of.
Totally.
Let's go to something a little more personal, which is, and I'm saying this very much as a Jewish kid who went to law school, just like you were a Jewish kid who went to law school. So, my parents are both deceased, but when they were not deceased, even when I was starting to become, and I put this in quotes, successful, they were confused. I remember my mom saying to me, one of the last times I ever talked to her, was like, what kind of lawyer has hair like that? Very Jewish mom kind of like thing to do. And my dad was confused too. I think when he saw I was making money, he was happy, but he was confused by it all.
Yes.
So here you are. And my parents were not, like, my dad didn't even graduate elementary school. Like, he had no educational background.
Oh, yeah.
My mom was educated, but, the education thing wasn't that big a deal in our family. Meanwhile, you come from a family of lawyers and you decide to poo-poo that, like, as you're sort of halfway through your first year or whatever. So how are they with that? It sounds like they were supportive, but
they were very supportive. My mom was terrified. My mom is a little bit more.
She a lawyer too?
No,
but she's married to a lawyer.
No, my parents are actually not lawyers. It's my brother, and so my uncles started a law firm, and then my brother took it over, and then
Your
all
dad's
my cousins.
Brother?
Yeah,
Okay.
my dad.
What's your
my
dad
dad's
do?
two brothers. My dad is he's a principal. My parents are both educators. My dad is a retired principal. My mom is a retired teacher.
Okay.
And so they're both educators. So very high importance on.
But still, the lawyer thing, big in the DNA, the diamond DNA.
It's in the DNA, yeah. So for sure, like, I just grew up around, the legal talk going in, as they were building the law firm, I thought it was very cool to see, and the advertisements started kicking in, and I was just like, this is very cool. This is, that was an American concept too, the advertising of a law firm. It didn't exist in Canada before my family. So to see that, I was like, wow, there's this entrepreneurial spirit there. And my sister-in-law came into my life when I was 12. And I just learned so much from just watching her hustle, from being like a baby lawyer to now being, helping build this crazy firm and being partner there, and my brother too. And so that ambition, I was like, I can't live a life that doesn't have that. So I
Even
knew,
though you didn't want to do that
exactly,
specifically.
but I knew I was going to put that kind of, keener type A attitude into anything I was doing.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, if I'm going to do it, I have to be the best at it.
Yes.
And so that's when Carnival Hearts happened. And I was like, okay, this is crazy. And then, when I started the production thing, I was like, I have to be one of the best. And I can thankfully say I'm on trajectory to being one of the biggest out of Canada probably in the next couple years. The thing with my parents though, like they are so confused with whatever I do. They have no idea. Like I'll take home, here's a SOCAN award, and they go, "What's SOCAN? What did you do on that? Okay, so you sang." Like because they don't understand that there was like a switch from being an artist to a producer as well.
Yes.
And same with the label. So my dad tries his best to understand it, and he'll like call me and be like, "Oh, so are you playing? You're playing with your artist on the road?" And I'm like, "Yes." So I have to kind of explain to him that like, I produced the record. I'm also playing on stage with him, so different things.
Oh, I
like
don't think
that.
I even realized that. So are you playing tonight?
Yeah. Yeah. We have sound
Oh.
check in like a couple hours.
And what are you playing?
I as an on stage, I'm playing keys and guitar, and I built the track, so I'm the MD.
Gotcha.
And yeah, so I'm triggering the tracks. I built the cues into the track, but yeah, so I play almost everything except wins.
How long's this tour?
It's only 3 dates, but the tour itself is about a week.
So today, and then what are the other shows?
This is our last.
Oh, what were the previous ones?
Yeah, we had Edmonton,
Yeah.
And then Calgary.
Okay.
Yeah, nice
then
little
it's
West
over
Coast.
tonight.
Yep.
And then you're back home tomorrow?
Back home tomorrow. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
This is going to sound like maybe a dumb thing to ask, but I mean, any questions for me about running a label? Anything you want to know?
Yes.
You said you wanted to pick my brain?
How many artists
Be
did
gentle,
you start with?
Pick away.
How many artists did you start with?
One. And it's funny now that you asked that question,
Mhm.
It kind of underscores something you said earlier, which is Chad and I did not know what the we were doing when we started. Well, we didn't. I'm
Right.
not saying that to be, I mean, we
Did you have anybody that you were sort of consulting as you were
not
doing
really.
it?
So we, I had been an entertainment lawyer for 5 years. Chad was obviously in a band, but neither of us had experience running a record label. The first year that we were a label, first 2 years that we were a label, the only record we released was Theory of a Dead Man, first record.
Okay.
I knew what I didn't know, which was kind of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I was a lawyer for a couple of bands didn't make me some expert in running a record label.
Right.
So we let Universal do everything.
Okay.
And I remember saying to Chad, because he was again off on the road doing whatever, I said, I want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Let's let them, because the more they did, the bigger of a distribution fee they got.
Right.
And I said, I don't care how much we have to pay them. I don't know what I'm doing. They do.
Right.
I'm going to sit here, and we hired 2 staff.
Mhm.
And basically we worked one record for 2.5 years.
Yep.
The only when I felt confident that like, okay, I get how to do this, that's when we started to sign more bands.
Right. Right. So that's kind of similar to what I'm doing.
Learn the out of it with the
Yes.
artists that you have right now.
Yes.
And then, you know what? At a certain point, it's like, oh, some of this stuff isn't as hard. Not that it's easy, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel more confident to maybe sign another band now.
Yes. Yeah.
And maybe now I can work too. Maybe I'll have to hire somebody. So our company grew in dribs and drabs. I mean, I was saying earlier, I think 42 employees. We had 5 employees for the first 5 years.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's and it's such a different business now than when we started. So that makes it hard to give advice as well, because I'm not sure how I would do it now.
Yeah. Every strategy is different. If you see even just like the majors, so many people in the marketing departments are getting fired because the artist is now head of marketing. They have their phone at their fingertips and they are head of marketing. And it's like, there's not a single marketing plan that does not include TikTok.
It's one of the big challenges in what we do is when an artist says to you, well, why do I even need a label? You know what? Some artists don't.
They don't. Some need. I was just talking to somebody the other day. I said, you can do this completely on your own. You can go to the bank and give them a business plan. This is a business. You're CEO of your own business. I don't know why so many artists aren't going to the bank with a business plan after getting, millions of streams independently.
Yes.
Like that's enough to go and get a small business loan.
Yeah, I think there is still a value to a team. But I think one reason, I think 604 is particularly well positioned these days because we're big enough to be able to do some real damage. We've got this facility so we can create all sorts of great content at little expense,
Mhm.
but we're not so big like the majors that we're sinking under the weight of our own infrastructure.
Mhm.
So I think right now we're actually, and that opinion might change in a year,
Yeah,
but right now I feel like we're the right size for a lot of artists.
totally.
I also do super mellow agreements. I never do long-term agreements anymore.
Right.
I think with Theory of a Dead Man, maybe we did a 5, 6 record deal. But these days, I'll often do a 1 record deal
Yeah.
or 2.
Why not?
It's like, hey, let me show you what we could do. And if you're happy at the end of that, then we could do more. And if you're not happy, then like it just, and in the day and age of streaming, catalog means something different than it used to.
Yeah, exactly.
Call Me Maybe keeps the lights on in this place.
It's incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Like,
What is that, a diamond record?
oh yeah, and some. I think it's the biggest
Wow.
selling digital single in history.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, double for you because Josh wrote that, right? Well, you don't have pub on that from him.
Well, I'm his manager.
Oh, you're his manager. Okay, well, that's great.
And we manage Tavish Crow's publishing interests, and he's the other
Incredible.
writer on it.
Incredible.
And I own the master.
Yes, that's the way to do it.
And even though I don't manage Carly anymore, there's still, commission on that.
Of course.
So yes, that one's, I must look like such an right now with the grin on my face.
It's the smartest thing.
Well,
you know?
I mean, listen, I bought this building because of that song.
And that's incredible.
It's incredible. It's
And
hard to believe that 3 people sat in a room,
Yeah.
came up with a song, and it has, it's not just us. I mean, Interscope has made millions.
Of course.
Carly's made millions. Josh has made millions. Tavish has made millions. 604 has made millions. It's crazy.
Yeah. And it's crazy that, we were just talking about it before. It's like people don't believe in you. They don't believe in you. You haven't put out a song. All of a sudden you put out one song. You can buy everybody houses. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And then people go, oh, I knew he was going to be successful.
Yeah.
I always knew. Yeah, right.
But that's why, say, Nickelback is so incredible too, because there's lots of one-hit wonders, but boy, it's hard to sustain a career over a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And Nickelback's now a 30-year-old band. I mean, I've been with them for 30 years.
I think it's one of the greatest bands to exist.
It's crazy.
I truly believe that. I think they're a great band.
Well, they at least last time I knew, they were the 11th biggest selling musical act in history.
That's pretty big.
And they're really nice guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is, why I won't tolerate conduct, because the first band that I went to the top of the Rock and Roll Mountain with didn't become.
Yes.
So now I know you don't have to become.
You can be a good mensch at the top if you want to.
Yes, you can be.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So, what else? Anything you want to promote? Anything else you want to?
I definitely want to promote
Let's
Amari. Amari just released his first EP ever. And the first
What's it called?
It's called The Boy from Nowhere.
Available presumably everywhere you can get music?
Everywhere you can get music. And that's the record that he's playing every night. And he's in a few years from now, you will not be able to not know him.
Great.
I truly believe that. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
And from Qualicum.
Yes. Yes.
Isn't that funny? You know who I think lives in Qualicum? So I'm surprised somehow he didn't get his hooks in there first. Was Brian House.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
That Brian lives there?
No, I didn't know that.
Now Brian's going to get mad because I'm going to have it wrong. I'm not from Qualicum, you idiot. He's somewhere on the island.
Well, let him know to stay away from my artist because he's my artist.
Well, I hope you have a contract.
Of course.
Well, then that's it. That's all he needs to know.
But Brian, if you want to do a feature, let him know.
Do you, just out of curiosity, like at 604, we have 2 or 3 people internally who really do nothing but the social media stuff.
Yes.
And sometimes we outsource that as well.
Mhm.
How do you guys do it? Like, how do you work with that particular artist?
So we have interns, actually. TMU has a great music business program, and
Formerly known as Ryerson.
Formerly known as Ryerson, yes. They send me some really, really great interns that have worked for us. Like shout out Catherine, Elia, so many people.
Nice.
Yeah, really, really good people, and they want to learn the business too at the same time. So they're hungry and they're free. So,
so you can't do that in BC.
You can't?
Free interns are illegal.
Oh,
It was something that happened at Hootsuite a number of years ago. There was
Really?
some scandal about the way interns are being treated.
Oh, well, I get that. Can't treat them like
No,
you
cannot
know.
treat them
I'm
like
just
shit.
grateful that they're willing to help out. I'm just like,
We
wanna
have
get
interns.
in?
What the exception is if it's part of a school program.
Yes, so that's what it is.
So we have interns from Capilano
Mhm.
College, and honestly, I think I have at least 4 or 5 staff who started as interns from Cap College.
Incredible.
It's a great way to get to know someone, and we just hired somebody. Olivia just got hired,
Incredible. Yeah,
and she was started as an intern from Cap College.
it's great.
It's great.
And I always have respect. I always talk about this, like, you know, when people understand that the budgets are low and that we could hire you if we had the budget.
Yeah.
But you see the potential and you see the potential in growing your business. So you'll do something, let's say, on spec for the first, year, and you're proving yourself. You end up making a lot more money.
Yeah.
You end up getting more connections. For example, we could not really afford to bring a videographer on this trip at all. We have we have barely any budget.
Yeah.
I'm playing for it.
Yeah.
So he found this incredible, I'm going to plug this guy too. His name's Aiden Gallagher. He's incredible. He's with us on the tour.
Sounds familiar. Where's
He's
Aiden?
from Vancouver, actually.
Yeah, that almost sounds familiar.
He's he hasn't really worked in the business before. This is his first time shooting this kind of content. He's never even been backstage
So
at a
did he
show.
go to all 3 shows?
Yeah, so he's been touring with us, but not only that, on the tour, Jamie needed content. And so now he just joined our tour for free, but look at the snowball effect of people recognizing him and his work ethic and the great work that he produces. He now is benefiting from that kind of thing. And I think that's very
Which
cool.
is a nice happy ending for all concerned.
Yes. But I do see him being very successful too. Like, that's a hustle, and I respect that kind of hustle.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah. Well, okay, so you've got your artist. Well, that's great. That's good for you. I think that's really cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Good for you. Do you find being a woman doing this, like, how does that present its own weird challenges, or no?
I think it's funny. I'm not the type of person that walks into a room and is like, I deserve this job because you need DEI hires. I think it's bullshit. I think that's dumb. I'm very good at my job. And I know that. And I think people can sense that I know that. So I don't get a lot of, I know that there are women that do get that. I don't get a lot of like, oh, you must be bad at this because you're a woman. I do get a lot of shock, like even playing guitar on stage, it just looks different when it's a woman.
It does.
Like, it's long hair, it's tits, like, so, but it's funny because I just laugh at it. Like, Matt, who's playing with Jamie, like, he's playing all these incredible chords, better than I can ever do. But nobody is clapping for him as loudly as they are when I go and just strike a G chord. And everybody's like, whoa.
Look, it's a woman playing guitar.
I've never seen a woman play guitar. So I do see that kind of treatment towards me. And in the production, people do have trouble wrapping their head around that I'm a producer. Especially when they hear the production, they're like, you did that? I'm flattered that you don't think that I could produce something of this quality. But
yeah, it's interesting.
But then it's just an age-old type of thing.
People are funny about women producers. They just are.
Yeah.
Which is such a load of
It is.
Like, who cares? I mean, to me, it's never even, I mean, if anything, I tend to prefer women in the work setting because I find it's more based on rational considerations, less based on ego considerations.
Mm-hmm.
I think for some, and maybe that's me now stereotyping, but I find men have a harder time keeping their egos in check.
Yeah, that happens.
Whereas I find women have their own set of whatever challenges, but not, I shouldn't be generalizing like this. Point is, my company is mostly women. Mm-hmm. And I've never hired someone because they were a woman or because they were a man or because they were black or because they were gay. But when you really don't give a shit about that stuff, and all you really are doing is trying to hire the best person for the job.
I always say
my God, it's amazing how diverse a company you end up with.
Right.
I mean, we have tons of LGBTQ people at this company. Mm-hmm. That wasn't because I was out there looking for DEI. It's because I'm like, hey, I think that's the best person for the job.
100%.
Hey, it turns out they're gay. Okay, whatever. Who gives a
I love that approach too. And I always say that. And I've sometimes been criticized by other women for, not making the case that more women should be in the studio. I think the person who's best for the job should be hired. And that's it. And I can't believe that that's a controversial thing to say in 2025. I'd love to be on a plane that lands.
Right. Right. Exactly. Okay. Well, listen, thank you. This is, like I said, this was a bit of a different one for me, and
Yeah.
maybe I'll know you still in 25 years and you can do it again. I'll be very old.
Will I be visiting you at
The Louis Breyer home is what they call it here.
That's the one here?
The Jewish old folks home.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I will never. I'm gonna die in my home. I don't care. But no. This was interesting, and good on you for kind of just taking the bull by the horns. It's a ballsy
Yeah.
thing to do.
Thank you. Thank you for having me too.
Yeah.
I learned
No.
a lot from you. Like, I think,
Okay. Well, good.
yeah, I think I'll be calling you and asking you for some advice if
are
that's okay.
Always welcome to call me. I'm real good with the advice stuff. Grant, take it away.
Okay. If you enjoyed this podcast, please rate it or review it. And your reviews may be in a future episode of I Hate Simkin. You can do that at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. 5 stars. We're going for 5 stars only. Nothing below 5 stars. It's not worth our time. 5-star reviews for I Hate Simkin. Come on.